Hi, I wanted to tell you about some pressed palettes that I made, and specifically, I already have a video of how to press using Easy Press, and you can watch that video where I demonstrate how I press a little eyeshadow into a pan. But this is more of just the overall experience, kind of like tips and tricks, and also how I magnetize my palettes. I got my eyeshadow palettes I got from eBay, and they have 28 pans in them, and they were, I can't remember how much they were, maybe like 10 bucks each. That includes shipping. It was like they were cheap, but the shipping was really expensive, and that's what made it so much more. So this is what they look like. And these are my eyeshadows. It's kind of the darker colors, and here are the lighter colors. So I have two of these, and I have another one, but those are all NYX Pearl Manias, and I'll show you that in a second. So some of the shadows I pressed are Jessie's Girl from Rite Aid. That's a Rite Aid, carries that brand. Have Everyday Minerals, Silk Naturals, Archetype Cosmetics, and if you notice some of these little like collage looking ones, those are my samples that came in little baggies pressed into one to, so I have enough to fill up a whole pan. Also my samples from Fire & fill up one pan if you use two samples, half and half, because they give you super generous samples, and I love Fire & eyeshadows. I don't have that many of them. I'm definitely gonna have to place an order soon. Sassy Minerals, it took 4 samples to fill up a pan. Let's see, I think that is all the brands. Oh, the She Space. Also, some of these are the She Space too. So those are the brands that I pressed, and they come out really good. I pressed them, using that method if you watch that video of the Easy Press, and they come out really good. Like, the pigmentation, this is Pop from Silk Naturals, but you don't touch them very hard, and the pigmentation is really nice. It comes right off. So they're soft, but they're not too soft. So about how I actually made these palettes magnetized, because they came unmagnetized. What it looks like is there's a little bit of a indentation in here for the pan to go into. So what you want to do is you want to take some glue. I used Elmer's Household Cement, but actually if you want it to be prettier, on second thought, I probably should have used clear glue, so it's not, you don't have this white blob, and you just use like a cheap paintbrush that you don't care about throwing out later because it kind of ruins it. Just paint on some glue, and then take a washer and glue down the washer, and this glue took a couple hours to dry, but the washers are used, I think are from like Walmart. They're flat washers, number 8 size. So those are really cheap, and what you want to make sure though is they are magnetic, so maybe bring like a little magnet with you and test them in the store. I think most of the materials that they make them from are, like steel is magnetic. And then what you want to do to your little pan to make it be able to stick to the washers, you want to get some magnet sheets from Michaels or AC Moore, and this is what I got. I took them all out, but it had 10 adhesive sheets in here, and they're supposed to be used for like business card. So they're very thin magnetic sheets, and you cut it up in whatever little shapes you want. I cut it out in like little rectangles. This is just a number labeling what color is what, so ignore that. But I cut it off, you peel off the little thing, and it sticks right on like this. And then you just put it back in your palette, and it sticks to the washer. So it's not like the strongest magnetic pull, so I'm not going to be able to like shake these or anything like that, but I can hold them, at a kind of upside down angle without them falling out. So that's really all I care about, is I don't accidentally fall out. I'm not planning on shaking this hard or anything. And then they stay, nice in when they're closed. I also pressed some blushes, and this pan is from Coastal Scents, and it came magnetized already. I have one blank one that I haven't decided what to press into yet, but One everyday minerals sample size jar fills up about half of this, so you could take 2 of those. This was a full size Silk Naturals Cosmic Blush, so that fills up a whole pan. And the reason I pressed everything is because I found it so much easier to use certain colors and things I wasn't really using, just because I didn't have them in like the group of most often used, like in the front of my stuff, you know, in terms of like organization. And so I was never really reaching for them, especially little sample baggies. Never reached for those. I ended up transferring them into like little bead jars, if you saw that video, and still never used them. And I was like, that's it, I'm pressing them, because I had a couple of pressed palettes, and I was like, I'm always reaching for my pressed palettes because they're like so convenient. You just grab it, you know, you don't have to be like opening jars, pouring out a little bit of powder. So ever since I pressed my stuff, it's been so much easier to use, and I've been able to organize it, you know, by color and stuff like that, and it's just been awesome. Really, really great. Highly recommend it. And the in terms of what, you know, what they're like using them, they use just the same way. You know, I just used the Easy Press from Coastal Scents, and it didn't really change any like colors or anything like that. They look the same to me when I put it on. And the last palette that I was kind of saving for the end here is my NYX Pearl Manias. I love some of these colors, they're so pretty. And the reason I'm saving it for the end is because I wanted to go into a little bit more detail on these. They were the most difficult to press, because when I initially, you know, did a test one to press, they ended up being really soft, where if you kind of press down on the actual little pan on the actual eyeshadow, it almost like you can see it moving, and it was just a matter of time before it like broke. So I ended up pressing them with just straight up Easy Press and no alcohol, because Easy Press is what kind of binds the stuff together, and the alcohol kind of dilutes it so it doesn't become too bound, you know, too hard. But in the case of these, they really needed a lot of binding. And so if you're thinking of pressing those particular ones, or maybe you have another one that you're having some trouble with, maybe it's just like really sparkly or something. I noticed that too. If it's really, really sparkly, sometimes it needs a little bit extra Easy Press to really bind those larger particles together. The matte eyeshadows really need the least. And so when I press these, they are not too soft now. They do not break or anything like that, but they're soft enough where, you know, I still get the color from them. And, you know, it's funny because I was wearing this yellow one the other day, and I had a little bit of trouble getting it onto my brush, but when I touch it with my finger, it comes off really easily. So I don't know. Maybe these are, like, a little bit harder than would be the, you know, optimal hardness. I don't know, but I guess I would rather have that than have them so soft that they break on me. So just experiment with, you know, different pigments. Like, all my other ones came out really nice, so these are really the only ones that gave me trouble. They're hardest to press. So I really recommend, you know, pressing, because it's fun. It keeps, if you're like kind of artsy craftsy person like me, it kept me entertained for like so long with all like the magnetizing the palettes, you know, finding the little magnet sheets and all this stuff, and the actual pressing process. I mean, I was entertained forever. Some people might find it tedious and like maybe like annoying, but if you like that sort of stuff, like I really like kind of crafty things and getting organized. So it was fun for me, and I didn't spend very much on makeup during that period of time, because these things are pretty cheap, you know, and pressing kind of I got my makeup fill that way. So really recommend it, and I hope that this gave you a little bit more information about it if you're thinking of doing it yourself. And if you want to see a little demonstration, watch my other video on how I actually, you know, press one for you on video. So thank you very much for watching.